Hello everyone, welcome to another video from Fantasy Football Scout. It is the Q&A ahead of Game Week 6. I'm joined by the returning Sam. Been kind of
Hooray!
supping you in and out for Gianni, but I think you're back on a long-term contract now. Is that right, Sam?
Yep, signed my contract last night as part of the transfer window.
Good.
Back on a long-term deal.
Good. And we've shipped Gianni off to some like Serie B team.
We've loaned him out.
You've loaned him out. Yeah, he's got to prove himself to come back. No, it's good to see you back. How you been?
Been good, yeah. School holidays still rumble on. Might get back on Monday, so actually it's been quite good. So I spent this morning in soft play, wearing them out.
Nice.
So now, yeah, back for the Q&A and loving life. Q&A is my favourite part of the week. I've missed this.
Fun. I know. Q&A's fun.
Missed
not been the same without you.
You see.
Well, hello to everyone in the chat. Yep, some people already commenting on our ranks. I mean, I caught up some points on you this week. So you're 2.4 million. I'm 2.7. Not been a great start.
I've had a good week.
But we both had good. I know, me too. We both had good weeks.
Hang on, I can't have abuse about my rank yet. It's only game week 5. Like, come on now.
Oh, you'd be surprised, Sam. You'd be surprised.
Nah,
with the...
I don't even look at overall rank yet. No, go get it to game week 10. Then I start thinking about where I am in the world.
Yeah. No,
unless, of course, I started and I was first, then I'd care.
Exactly. It's a good time to talk to us. We're both on the up. We've both had a pretty miserable start to the season, but game week 5 was kind. We head into game week 6. Hello to everyone in the chat. We've got 200 people watching. Loads of questions coming in. Just so you know, do get your super chats in. 50%, so half of all the money raised from super chats on these streams all season goes to Street Child United, which is the charity that Gianni works for. They basically set up World Cups for homeless children to raise awareness, raise funds. It's a really fun event where they kind of get street children from across the world to gather for this big tournament with the idea that you can help raise money for like a really worthy cause. So do get your super chats in. You can also buy us a coffee and you can support homeless children. I mean, what else could you want? It's great. Right, let's start with some of the first questions. So the first question we had was from Sayuj, who got in early. I think this question came in like way before the stream started. Sell Robertson to Williams and get in Zaha for De Silva. Great to see Sam back. So a few things we can talk about here. I mean, selling Robertson and getting in Zaha. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I would do that. I mean, well, the Robertson for Williams. I mean, I think Williams looks like a great pick for this week. He's going to be one of those players that most people have got sat on their bench 99% of the time. But for me, I'll be starting him this week against a Bournemouth side that just can't score goals right now. So I definitely want him this week. So selling Robertson to downgrading him to Williams with the way that Williams is, like, he's had 11 shots on goal so far this season. Like, it's more than anyone else at Forest. He's the most attacking player by far. So. Yeah, I like that move. The Zaha one, I mean, the problem I have with Zaha is that he literally always trolls me. If I bring in Zaha, he goes, that's it. No more returns for you. But I do think it's a good upgrade on De Silva. So I think, and also if you get to that price point, then you've got so much flexibility in terms of where you go when Zaha's purple patch inevitably ends. Because let's be honest, if you're bringing in Zaha, you know that at some point it's going wrong. So yeah, I think I would do that, particularly if it's a free transfer. He didn't say, did he, whether it was 2 free transfers or did he?
He didn't know. I imagine it's for free because he didn't mention.
For free, yeah.
Yeah, I mean 4 goals in.
I think I would.
Yeah, 4 goals in 3 starts for Zaha. Obviously no move. It's the last year of his contract as well, so he'll be finally able to move on from Palace at the end of the year if he wants to.
And he did seem quite.
Seems all right, doesn't he?
In the post-match interview the other night, it was quite interesting listening to him, wasn't he? Because he was talking about how they kind of thrown it away.
Clearly, still cares.
Yeah, that's what really struck me, is that this wasn't a guy that didn't care. He didn't come on and was like, oh, well, whatever. He came on and he was like, oh, it's, frustrating. And it was like a real moment of like, actually, I thought he was going to cry at one point.
No, yeah.
He
always looks like that. He's a very emotive, a very emotive player. Yeah, I think, Robertson is someone that, like, I just don't think is worth the money at the moment. I got rid of him a few weeks ago.
No.
You're always going to expect some returns from him, so it's never going to feel like a particularly good week to sell him. But if you are going to sell him for Williams, like you said, this is the week to do it because he plays Bournemouth. So if you're going to do it this week.
I just don't think the Liverpool defensive double up isn't on, and even arguably owning anyone in the Liverpool defence at the moment isn't on because the clean sheets just aren't there. And until Thiago Silva and and the defence are more secure in terms of who's
Henderson's
playing
out as well now as well.
position. Henderson's out now as well, yeah. And obviously they got the new guy last night, but he's going to have to bed in, right? So for me, now isn't really the right time to be on the Liverpool defence. Like I am thinking about, and I'm not doing it this week because I want to roll this week, I think. But I'm thinking about selling Trent because I'm not seeing enough returns from him.
What?
Yeah,
He's got 17 points.
I know, but when you watch him, a lot of that is, I think for me, the minimum you expect from owning a premium defender like that is a clean sheet 90% of the time. And we're not seeing that from Liverpool right now. Yes, Trent has some attacking threat, but we are kind of seeing less of that, I think, than I would want in terms of not the actual number of attacking threats he has, but the returns on those attacking threats. We're not seeing that as consistently as we would like. So I'm going to give it Everton. I'll probably even give it the game week after, to be honest, and see how he's looking over the next couple. But if I get to wildcard time and he hasn't got to 30 points, then I think I probably will part with him because I think you can use that. There's so many really nice 5 million, 5.5 million, 4.5 million defenders right now. And that money goes such a long way up top in terms of, bringing up my third rubbish forward that I'd rather be Mitrovic or I'd rather be Kane. But, it goes a long way. And I think you kind of have to look at your team this year and think about it slightly differently and go with the form at the time. Doesn't mean I'll never bring him back. It's just something I'm thinking about because it means I can redistribute the budget better elsewhere, maybe.
So it's definitely a sell for Robertson then if you have him. If you think of selling Trent.
Robertson. Yeah, I'd sell Robertson for sure.
Well, the chat finds that very interesting, to say the least. Sam, we won't turn this into the Trent stream. Let's have a look at some super chats. FPL rank chaser. Should I sell Perisic for James or Trippier? I would say yes. I think it's almost 90-95% likely that Perisic doesn't play this one, given he just played nightly. Surely Sessegnon comes into this. And I think James and Trippier are better options going forward. So I would do it. You're the Spurs fan?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think Sessegnon will start this one. I'm going tomorrow. I'm expecting not to see Perisic's name on the team sheet. I'm expecting to see
Have you
Sessegnon.
got him?
No, I don't have any Spurs players at the moment.
Whoa.
What is even my life right now? So yeah, but I think he'll start Sessegnon this week. I do think Perisic will come on though. And when he does come on, he tends to be attacking and there's always a threat of some attacking returns there. So if he comes on 70, 80, well, not 80 minutes, but 70 minutes, which is where he normally starts to make some subs, then maybe he gets some attacking returns. But I wouldn't be... I think if you're playing him against Fulham, you're playing him because you want 90 minutes and you want the potential for the clean sheet and everything else. Whereas... I mean, I don't know how I feel about Chelsea because this is a whole nother, probably send the chat back into breakdown because I'm not loving the Chelsea defence at the moment. I'm not loving Mendy, and I think that's the problem. I think like the goalkeeper's had a few wobbles in these opening few game weeks of the season. It's made the defence less attractive. I have signed Fofana though now, and I do think that the back line with Koulibaly, Fofana, with Cucurella/Chilwell, and then James will be a nice, solid unit. But it's going to take time, isn't it, for this to bed in? So would I bring in James this weekend if I didn't own him? I don't know if I prioritise him as a transfer in this weekend.
No, I'm not.
But I think longer term, I would want a Chelsea defender, but they've got to learn how to...
Yeah.
They've got to feel each other out first, right?
Yeah, I think James and Trippier are both good long-term options. And I think I would sell... I didn't go with Perisic in the wild card. I thought he'd start that West Ham game, and I was worried watching it. But in the end, did you see he was on for 2 bonus until like the second minute, and then he got booked?
Yeah,
I know, he's lost like 3 points or something. But yeah, I mean, the thing with Chelsea is it doesn't matter how many defenders they sign. If they've got no midfield, teams are still going to create chances against them. Because they haven't. And
that's the thing, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. If Kante's still got these injuries, if Kovacic isn't quite ready, it's only been a couple of days since the last game, and they got carved open over and over again. So I agree. I think you can eat on James. I think Perisic to Trippier is a really nice move, actually. I like that. I'd go for that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Because I think I like Trippier as a pick. I sold him, actually, last week because he was flagged, and I wanted to, with Reece James being ill and everything else, I wanted to be sure I had enough players. But I do like Trippier, and when I sold him, it was on the basis that come wildcard season, I probably would look to reinvest in him, because I like what Newcastle are doing. I like the way that they're playing. I like the fact that he's got set pieces in his locker, and he looks really dangerous from them in the way that he did when he was at Spurs all those years ago. I don't think there's a lot not to like about Trippier right now. So for sure, I think he's a nice pick. I do think that what will be interesting now, obviously, with the Champions League coming next week, is to work out what Conte is going to do with Perisic. Because if Perisic is going to be mostly playing in the Champions League, then that might mean that he doesn't play so much in the league, and that will be an easy sell then for managers. So maybe it's a case of just, giving it. Depends on what your subs bench looks like for this weekend. If you can afford to you've got a good option, because so many of those cheap options that, like we talked about Nico Williams already, that you would probably want to play this week, you can probably afford a Perisic bench in. But if you can't, then Trippier seems like a nice option.
My logic for getting rid of Perisic was I just, at the rank I was at 5-6 million, I couldn't run the risk of just a player like Perisic just not starting when, like you've said, there's so many good 5 million options. And so many good defenders as well. And even, going into the 6 million, 6.5 bracket, I can't have a player who could score 1 point. Okay, you might get the odd 12, but even that's not a guarantee, right? We saw against Notts Forest, he only got a clean sheet in that. That's a game you would have definitely expected some attacking returns from him. So they're not guaranteed. I think, personally, if I had him, I'd sell him this week. And I think out of those two options, I would go for Trippier at the moment. But I think you could make a case for Holding, make a case for James, or make a case for Trippier. So... yeah, does that help? Who knows? Alex H, thank you for the super chat. Hi guys, Tony, Mitrovic or Isak this week until the wild card around week 9. If Ramsdale is out, is it worth a -4 for Sanchez or Henderson, or should I play Ward?
Right, Mitrovic's got Spurs. Yep. I think he'll score against us.
So do I.
I don't see Spurs keeping a clean sheet against Fulham. I think that there's some defensive vulnerabilities there. So I think Mitrovic's run of scoring goals will continue. So he looks like a good pick this week. What were the others? Tony?
Yep, Tony and Isak.
Tony's got Leeds.
We're talking for 3 weeks.
Isak. So Isak in 3 weeks. So Isak's got Crystal Palace, West Ham, and Bournemouth. Tony's got Leeds, Southampton, and Arsenal. And Mitrovic. Where's he gone?
Take your time, Sam. Not like we've got 500 people watching.
Spurs, Chelsea, and Forest. See, I think I'd still go Mitrovic, to be honest, because Spurs' defence is gettable for sure. That we will attack. It's at home. They can get in behind. They'll probably score. Chelsea defensively aren't going to improve that much in the space of a week till the game afterwards, and then it's Forest where he knows that defence. He's played against them. Well, actually, he might not have played against them before. They've signed so many new players, but he's got experience of playing against Forest. He's got the hardest fixtures, but he's in the best form. Isak feels a bit more risky, I think, is the best way of saying it, because we've only seen 1 game out of him so far. I do think he looked great, though, I must say. I was impressed. And Tony just seems to have lost. So his XG's dropped dramatically. From game weeks 1 to 3, it was like 1.41. And then in the last 2, it's been 0.49 or 0.41 or something. I can't remember the exact stat, but it's like it's fallen off a cliff. So even with nice fixtures, I do have a little bit of a worry about Tony. So I think for me, I'd go Mitrovic. That was a very long-winded answer. I apologise, everyone, but I think Mitrovic.
That was good. I mean, these are the questions that, although we are obviously focusing on super chats and specific questions, these are broader questions that a lot of people are going to be wondering. I think I agree. I think you can rule Tony out of those 3. He hasn't just really been delivering. Brentford are a little bit iffy in that, and I think Mitrovic is clear in terms of the form pick. I think I'd go for Mitrovic as well, just because his price is going to keep going up. You're going to want him from game week 9. And, I know it's Spurs and Chelsea, but they look gettable.
But the defences are gettable.
I think if you want to just target the next 3, Isak has the best 3 fixtures out of those guys. So he's got a bit of a knock. He took a thigh. What was it? A thigh cookie, I think it translates to in Swedish. Basically a bruise on the thigh. But, the fact he came straight into the team does indicate how thinks he's kind of ready to play. So if you're looking for someone that no one's got, a bit of fun with 3 good fixtures, go for Isak. But I think Mitrovic is the sensible play, because you're going to want him from game week 9. And there's no reason why he can't continue to get a couple of goals. on those three. Would you take a -4 for Ramsdale to Sanchez or Henderson, or just play Ward if he's out? Ramsdale's been poor, isn't he? I think a lot of people have been disappointed with him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got a save point all season.
No. I mean, I don't like Ramsdale at the moment. I think there's better options. I mean, Henderson looks...
He hasn't. Not a single save point all season, Ramsdale.
But we're also talking about a -4 for a goalkeeper here. So they've got to do more than just keep a clean sheet for this to be worth it, because Ward's going to get one, is the reality.
Yeah.
So basically, they've got...
We'll score against Leicester. After watching that game yesterday, we will score against Leicester.
You're 100%.
Guaranteed.
So Ward's getting 1 point is my feeling for the weekend. Therefore, the goalkeeper that you bring in has to get at least a clean sheet to make that -4 worth it this week. And then obviously you've got to have some long-term feeling that this is a keeper that you're going to want to own long-term. So Henderson, I think, is a great pick for this week. But do you want Henderson as your long-term goalkeeper? Because if you're making a goalkeeper change, then you're doing it not just for one game week, right?
Mm-hmm. Assume there's a wild card in game week 9.
So we've got at least 3 game weeks to get through. So who was the other goalkeeper, Henderson or who?
Sanchez.
I would go Sanchez. I think Brighton looked offensively really, really strong again. He's a nice pick. He does pick up the additional points. Yes, all right. Henderson's had a couple of great games and he's got, had the penalty save against Spurs. Oh, shudder. But at least I don't know that they will keep as many clean sheets. I would bet on Brighton keeping more clean sheets in the next 3 than I would Forest.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'd go Sanchez. I mean, Brighton's. I've gone for Henderson, but that's for the longer term, right? Because I'm keeping that keeper right down to, whenever the World Cup is.
Or because you've wildcarded now, so you're doing it for till game week 16.
But if you're doing it in 9, Sanchez has got Leicester, Bournemouth, Palace.
Yeah.
So he's outscoring Ward in those 3 games by 4 points.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's no. If he doesn't, I'd be absolutely shocked. So
Ward's going to get 3.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He got 2 last night. Bless him. Oh, painful to watch.
All right. So at maximum, he's getting 6.
I think if Ramsdale's out, I think Ramsdale to Sanchez for a -4 will pay off over 3 games. Easy.
Yeah, you got to look at it as over the 3 games rather than just for that one fixture. But I don't see. I mean, Leicester looked. I don't think Leicester score against you at the weekend. They looked awful.
Yeah, I know, absolutely terrible, and just so many mistakes in them as well. I mean, what are they doing? The amount of times that their defence just parts. They leave huge gaps.
Yeah, it's awful.
And you'd think someone like Bruno would be able to exploit it, but couldn't. United really should have won that game by more. They didn't play well at all. Oh, I'm going to get slated. I'm going to get slated for saying I hate them. Obviously, it was a good performance. Good. They look good defensively. They look a lot more structured and organised. Before anyone says that I'm ripping on United again.
The best I'd seen Man United play. That was the best I'd seen Man United.
It was the most controlled I've seen United play, but I still think they're struggling attack-wise to get that attack to gel. It's going to be really interesting what Anthony does, because he's the kind of flair option in that side, and they didn't seem to have any flair last night. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm interested to see how he comes into the team. I'm guessing he replaces Rashford kind of straight away. Sancho moves over to the left, and then Martial comes in when he's fit. So, I'm expecting them to improve. But yeah, Leicester were really poor. Did you watch it last night? It was such a bad game.
It was so boring.
Oh my god!
It was honestly given that we'd had 2 nights of football, and good football. If ever a game got boring over the 2 nights previous, it was right, okay, I'll just flick off and watch another game. Instead, some really good football matches, and then there was last night.
I know. It was.
I'm bored.
Oh god,
I'm bored.
It was so painful. I started reading a food blog thing halfway through, and I was just like, what am I doing? I don't even. Yeah. This is the first food blog I've ever read. Tyler, thank you for the super chat. 2 free transfers. Thoughts on Robertson to James and Perisic to Williams, and then next week doing Kulusevski to Sterling. Robertson to James, Perisic to Williams.
But I do like that. I do like that. I really like the Sterling pick
next week.
I really like that, because he's going to be a massive differential. He's in great form. They've now got Aubameyang. I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about that. But at least they've got a striker now. So surely that makes Sterling a better option now that there's a proper, I was going to call Aubameyang a proper number 9. But, there's an actual person that's job is going to be to score the goals. I do like the Sterling pick, and he's started to find some form, returns in the last two. I like that. I think I would do those transfers. I mean, Reece James, I don't think is an essential pick. I think you could save money and go down to Trippier instead. I don't think you have to have Reece James. And I don't think defensively they're looking great. And it will probably take a little while for Chelsea to look great. By the time we get to wildcard territory, sort of 8-9, that's probably the time I think if you've not invested in Chelsea will be a good time, because they'll have had games of train together, playing together, get used to each other's and how they partner. So you could just go Trippier instead, save a bit more money. That might allow you to upgrade somebody other than Kulusevski, because he could still be an all right pick. But I do really like the Sterling pick. So if it enables that, and I don't think you're losing anything defensively. You've got Williams for this week, who's a great pick for this week.
I mean, my counter argument to that would be: do you need to lose Robertson this week for James? I think Robertson is a better option.
You could do that both next week.
Yeah, I mean, if he's got 2 free transfers, so he's got to do one. So why not just do Perisic to Williams this week, keep Robertson, who I think is a better pick against Everton than Chelsea are against West Ham, and then reassess next week.
That's true. Yeah, because then you still have the 2 frees and for next week, and you could just do the Chelsea.
That's what I do.
The James move then.
Perisic,
it would mean bringing in 2 Chelsea players next week, which feels...
Yeah, but they've got Fulham. They've got Fulham at home, is it, next week?
They've got Fulham, yeah.
Yeah, is it? I can't remember if they're home or away. They're probably away, aren't they, if they're at home this week? No, they're away. Yeah. That's what I do. And then, I mean, you can even see with Kulusevski. I mean, Kulusevski isn't a hard sell for me. I know the fixtures aren't amazing.
No, I don't think he's a hard sell either. I think there's scope in those fixtures for Kulusevski.
Yeah.
It's been a bit unlucky the last couple not to have returned, I think. But I do think Sterling is a great differential and a nice fun pick up until wildcard.
Okay, so Perisic to Williams this week and then assess next week. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I think that's what we do there.
Naylor, MUFC, Captain Kane or Haaland?
Oh. All right.
It's got to be Kane. It's got to be Kane. I know Haaland's just scored back-to-back hat-tricks, but if you're ever going to captain Kane, it's got to be this week, surely. He's definitely going to play.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree, because if I had Kane this week, I'd captain him. So,
hang on, are you going to watch a Spurs game with no Spurs players?
Yeah.
Has that ever happened? You ever done that before?
No, this has never happened.
Like that.
I don't know what to do either, because what is my FPL rule? If I'm going to a game, I have to captain.
I know. You have to captain Mitrovic.
I don't have him.
Oh no. They're screwed.
So I'm done. So I'm just going to have to go and enjoy the game. I mean, the only way I can get to Kane is to sell Salah for a -4.
Yeah, probably don't do that.
And I'm not going to do that. So I am going to not have a Spurs player. I could sell Luis Diaz. And get Kulusevski and captain him. But I don't really want to captain him. So I probably am going to just hold this week and then assess what I do next week. But I think Kane is a brilliant captaincy option if you own him this week. I think he has a great record against Fulham. Returns in 3 of the 4 meetings he's had against them in the Premier League. Averages 6.25 points per match against them.
Good knowledge.
He's on great form at the moment. In the last 4 game weeks, he's averaging 7.25 points per match. So he's leading that Spurs attack. He is the informed player right now. There could have and should have been better had he actually scored that penalty. I've never known him miss a penalty. So that one against Nottingham Forest obviously would have made things even better. So for me, his record against Fulham, the fact that it's at home in front of the crowd, they'll want to bounce back from the draw against West Ham, and obviously they'll want to be on a good result going into Champions League next week. I think Kane is an excellent pick, and he's guaranteed the 90 minutes, whereas I think that I think Haaland either plays 60 minutes or he plays 20 minutes. So can Haaland score a hat-trick in 20 minutes? Well, he could do it in 26, so why not in 20? But it's against Aston Villa, who are woeful. I think it's tight, but the fact that I could be certain that Kane gets the minutes would make me put it on Kane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going for Salah this week and not Haaland. Purely
you
for
go
those
for Salah
minutes.
this week?
Yeah. I think Everton are due a pasting. I don't know. I think there's not going to be many opportunities to back against Haaland this season. I think he's becoming a player who
I did it last week. It didn't go well.
Well, exactly.
It didn't go well.
I know, and I think
I did it the last 2 weeks. I've backed against Haaland.
Yeah, and
it's not gone well.
And it's not fun. And when he plays, I think he's by far the best option that there is, because the whole team is completely geared up to getting goals. But I think this weekend, before the Champions League starts, there is a very, very high chance that he doesn't start the match and he just gets 20 to 30 minutes at the end. And it's probably not going to be higher than it is in this match. And you've got Kane up against Fulham at home. who's in great form.
No, I mean, I agree with you.
I think it's got to be. It's got to be. If I had Kane, I wouldn't even be asking that question. I wouldn't even be paying a super chat to us. I'd be giving the armband to Kane. Definitely.
Oh.
There you go. Not
I
even
don't know
a
it's
debate
that.
for me.
I don't. Oh, see, I don't know if it's that clear cut, but I do prefer the Kane captaincy over Haaland this week. I don't think I prefer. I mean, Salah's record against. I will have some more stats for you now. Salah's record against Everton is really good. He averages 7.5 points per match against them. 3 goals, 1 assist, 3 bonus points in the last 4 matches against them. So good record. He isn't right though, is he? He's not quite hit the mark yet.
Getting assists with his shoulder.
Yeah, okay. So up until the 97th minute on Wednesday evening, I was selling Salah. I was like, I'm done with this. I can't justify that much money when Kane is cheaper. I can get to him for a -4 and that gives me a front three of Haaland, Jesus, and Kane. I'm just going to sell Salah. And then that second assist went in, and it's like. Well, it makes it a little bit more difficult because then you're selling a player that's got 10. It's not like he's had a bad game week. The derby brings out a different side, and that's the thing. I think if it was anyone else this week, I might be tempted to sell Salah. But against Everton, he's got a good record. It's a derby. The Liverpool fans and the players will be boosted by that last-minute winner against Newcastle the other night. I think had they drawn that game, the feeling going into the derby would have been different, whereas they go into that now bolstered and more confident. But I don't know that he's a better captaincy than Haaland. Like, I'd fancy Haaland to outscore Salah, even if Haaland only got 20 minutes.
Really? See, I think given that it's a Goodison, they're going to have to attack a bit. And they can't defend. Their XG, like conceded stats, is really poor. They've been lucky. They've held on in a lot of games, getting these draws.
Yeah.
They're due a pasting. Whether it's going to be Liverpool, I don't know. But Núñez is back. Jota's been back in training. They've got options that can hurt them. And I like the look of Liverpool this week. And I think
Núñez is going to play?
No, I don't think so. I think Firmino gets one
more.
Got
to start Firmino, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Firmino's form's been great. Yeah.
Did you see Núñez on the bench in the last game shouting "F off" to like the people? It's like, mate, calm down. You're gonna get bloody sent off again.
He's gonna be sent off again. He's gonna come back. He's gonna be sent off again. He's just he's always raging. He's got anger issues at the minute. Bless him. He's like, I love that he needs to calm down.
He did that post which like, oh, this won't ever happen again. Like, I'm really sorry. Let everyone down. And then the next game, he's like swearing at the opposition fans. Like, okay, it's clearly something going on there. Okay, so we both say Kane. I say by a lot. You say by a little. But you say Haaland over Salah, and I say Salah over Haaland.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. John Cahill, thoughts on Billy Gilmour signing for Brighton? Interesting one. He was pretty rubbish, wasn't he, last year at Norwich? But huge potential. Yes. But it's Norwich.
But Norwich. Yeah. Let's caveat that. Because I actually think Billy Gilmour's good.
So do I.
I think he's a good player.
For 9 million, I think that is a bargain. And if anyone can mould him, it's Potter into a good option. And like we're playing McAllister in a midfield 3. Like, he's going to come into the team, and he won't be an FPL option, but he'll make Brighton a better team. I think he's that kind of box to box player that we don't really have, because we're kind of making do with Gross and McAllister in that role. So I think it's a really smart signing from Potter, and I'm really surprised we've got him for so cheap, given the amount of money that's going around, 30, 40 million for players. I think 9 million for Gilmour's an absolute steal. So, yeah, really happy with it.
I think he's a great buy. I mean, I think you can't take what happened at Norwich last year with any... we can't credit that with anything major. Norwich were awful for so much of the season, and that wasn't Gilmour's fault. But I think, when you lost Basuma, you needed somebody that could kind of come in, and you've made some good signings. Like, you lost Basuma, you lost Cucurella, but you've signed decent players. And Brighton looking really good this year. So, and Gross has stepped up in a way that we've not seen from him consistently before. Like, I've always rated Gross. Every time I've watched him, I thought you're good, but we've not seen the consistency of returns that we're seeing from him this season. Trossard, I love. I think Trossard is an absolutely excellent player. So with them two, with the potential for, well, just not with Maupay up front, everything feels a little bit more together.
He's gone.
It just feels a bit better, doesn't it? Just I think everything at Brighton feels good. In good form, confidence is going. Yeah, what's not to like? I think Billy Gilmour's a great signing.
Yeah, me too.
Not for FPL.
No, he'll make Brighton. He'll make Brighton better. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Quite a few compliments to you, Sam. Nuclear Atoms says you're looking very colourful. Likes your makeup.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice. Delia agrees, says you're looking great. And well, there was one other one as well. Can't find it now. Someone else said that. Someone else said that.
I'll be all blushing now.
Someone else said you look nice.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, long one here. Get that notepad out.
Right,
this is FPL Pharaoh current team: Sanchez, Trent, Cancelo, James, Cucurella, Gabriel, Salah, Martinelli, Gross, Pereira, Lavia, Haaland, Jesus, Tony. It's basically the template. Maybe Cucurella instead of Trippier or something like that. Would you do Cucurella to Trippier? Okay, would you do Cucurella or Gabriel to Trippier? That's the question.
Got James already?
Yeah.
I'll do Cucurella. You do not need a double up of the Chelsea defence.
Cucurella to Trippier? That sounds great to me. I think that's an easy one, right? I wouldn't lose...
You don't need two Chelsea defenders.
Nah, and I wouldn't lose Gabriel. They're playing United and Everton next, with the two worst teams from set plays. I can see him getting something in one of those two games.
Yeah. I wouldn't sell. Arsenal been good. Yeah, all right. They've got Man United next. That'll be really interesting, that game on the weekend. But I think owning 3 Arsenal players still feels like a really sensible thing to have. And Gabriel's looking really good, so I wouldn't want to get rid of him. Set piece threat. Yeah, you'd sell Cucurella.
Agreed.
You keep James, sell Cucurella.
Yep. It was Christopher Con, by the way. He said, like your hair, Sam. There you go. That's the other one.
Oh, thanks.
And Abardi says, lovely couple. And we won't get into that. For sale, Ali. Neco Williams or Dunk? Choose one for the bench. You got to play Williams.
You got to play Williams. You have to bench Dunk. So I've got this problem. I've got Veltman on my bench at the moment. I don't really want to bench him against Leicester because I think Leicester are awful. But I think you have to play Nico Williams. The fixture's really nice. Bournemouth just aren't scoring goals. His attacking threat way out scores Dunk or Veltman's, and therefore you have to go with the defender you think is most likely to keep a clean sheet. I think that's fairly equal. But then Nico Williams has got a hole in him, that kid. At some point, he is going to get 12, 16, whatever points, and you don't want him sat on your bench when he does that. And there's a good chance that happens against Bournemouth.
I mean, there's 3 things you consider, right? There's the team they play for, the team they're playing, and then like the kind of attacking stats. And Williams is playing the worst attacking team in the league, Bournemouth. Mm-hmm. He's got really good attacking stats. Yep. But his team isn't as good as Brighton, because Brighton are the better side. That's still 2 out of 3. That's enough for me. Go for Williams.
It's tight. It's hard to bench a Brighton defender. I'm really struggling with the idea of benching Veltman this week. But I think if you've got to make the choice between those 2 players, then Williams wins out.
Yep.
But he wins out.
Yep, I agree. Sinistera or Harrison? That is from Amir Hajar.
That's an interesting one, because Harrison's stats have really dropped the last couple of weeks. Like, he was involved in 57% of the goals that Leicester scored game weeks 1 to 3, and now none in game weeks 4 and 5. Like, he's just taken a dip. I would worry slightly about him from that perspective, because I think his relationship with Rodrigo was really gelling nicely, and I don't know, obviously with Rodrigo now being out. I've got Aronson, just to throw another caveat in there. And I really enjoy owning him. Like, he's attacking, he's got set piece threat. He's cheap as well. So if you want to save a little bit, then I think Aronson is also just as nice a pick as Harrison. Maybe a little bit nicer than Harrison. I don't know. I'm really torn on that one. I don't know that there's a... I think I'd go Aronson of the 3 of them, to be honest.
He's not in the mix. It's Sinistera or Harrison.
No, but why can't he be in?
Maybe he's already got him
in the mix.
That would make...
Maybe he's already got him. You wouldn't want to double up, would you?
Well,
Sinistera then. Go on.
Sinistera.
I'll get off the fence. Go on.
Okay. Well, my answer is it depends whether you're an analytics or a grass FC type person. And if you don't know what that means, that is the kind of the camps on Twitter where people seem to fit. If you're an analytics man, a big stats man, Jack Harrison absolutely destroys Sinistera across every metric.
Yeah.
He's got a better XG, a better expected assists. He creates more chances. He's on set pieces. This is per appearance. And if you look at the stats, there's absolutely no reason why you'd pick Sinistera. If you watch the game, and I have watched the last couple of games with Sinistera in, I am more impressed with Sinistera. I'm impressed with his positioning. I think he's got a great eye for a shot as well. I think, the goal he scored at the near post, the first time I saw that, I thought that's a massive error from Pickford. I watched it again. I thought, actually, that's a really well-placed shot from him. I think he's a really, really classy player who's only going to improve. So I kind of sit in the middle of analytics and grass, but I think Sinistera is the funner pick. I think he's a better player than Harrison, and I'd pick him. But if you want to go with the stats, then you go for Harrison, and you save a bit of money as well. So head,
we'll just go with Harrison.
Head Harrison, heart Sinistera, Sam Aronson.
Aronson, yeah, why not?
There you go. Stephen Gallagher, would you do Robertson to Trippier or prioritise getting Rodrigo out? Not many great options around 6'5". You've got to get rid of Rodrigo. You can't.
You have to get rid.
You've got to get rid of him. You can't have a player who's out for 3 weeks just sat on your bench at 6'3", 6'4". You've got to. My strategy with FPL is always prioritise your weakest player, and a
100%.
non-playing 6 million option. When you said there's not many great options, I disagree. I think there is. I think
there's loads down there.
There's loads. You've got Harrison, you've got Gross, you've got Sinistera. That's just 3.
Aronson
as well. Yeah, we mentioned him.
Why am I becoming obsessed with Aronson today? Why do I do this? It's like when I went on that run about just only talking about Pookie last year.
Oh yeah, that didn't go so well, did it?
I just do this, don't I? Just randomly one player I talk about all the time. I actually think there's loads of really nice options at the moment.
Gibbs White as well, if you want to target the Notts Forest fixtures. A few people mentioning him in the chat. There's loads of options. You just take your pick. You've got to get rid of Rodrigo, Stephen. For me, I would do, if I had the money, I would do Rodrigo to Sinistera, and I probably wouldn't even think twice about it. That would be my move. And you'd do.
I would 100% priority. I would prioritize the Rodrigo transfer 100%.
Definitely.
I don't think Robertson is a must sell ahead of the derby.
No, not do I. Damien Bruns, Rodrigo and Ramsdale out for Sinistera and which goalkeeper up to 5 million. So that's assuming Ramsdale is out, because if he's not out, you don't need to make that move.
So I'd still go for Sanchez in goal.
Yeah. I mean, I've got Henderson because I believe that he will be the top scoring keeper.
But again, we don't know. But we don't know the time of this, do we? If it's till wildcard around game week 8, which is where most people are kind of putting their marker, then it's Sanchez. If you want to get all the way through to game week 16, then go Henderson.
Okay, I'll simplify even more. If you've already used your wild card, go Henderson. Yeah. If you haven't used your wild card, go Sanchez. How about that?
I mean, isn't that exactly what I've just said?
Yeah, but I was paraphrasing into a manageable chunk. Ian can clip that for social now, Sam. You can't clip your long-winded rants about.
I mean, Ian can clip this as well if he likes. This little lover's tip that we're now having about it.
He probably will as well. It's what he's about.
He probably will. It's still up here on social media later.
Jack Martin, return to Nunez as soon as possible. He'll be back in the team, I imagine, next week. I don't think he'll play for Everton.
See, I think he might get some minutes.
He will definitely get some minutes, but he won't play.
I think he'll bring him on around 60 minutes, 70 minutes.
He'll get sent off for a fight with
He'll
Craig
swear
Gordon,
at the opposition
Gordon.
crowd. He and Gordon have a scrap. I don't know. And then I think he'd probably start. Well, there'll be some rotation, won't there, around the Champions League. I imagine maybe Firmino plays the Champions League game in midweek, and then Nunez plays game week 7, or the other way around, depending upon which way Klopp wants to go with the formation and the system that he's going to play. But he will be back in the team, yes. Would I bring him in straight away? No, I don't think I would. I don't think we saw... Oh, here's something controversial. I don't think we saw the best of him yet. Like, he came on, he was good. In those games where he came off the bench, don't get me wrong, he was good. But I think it's a massive difference in system for Liverpool when Nunez is playing. So we need to he needs to bed in and not get sent off, because it's not consistency then, because he's played a couple and he's been sent off, then he's had these 3 matches out. Once he starts settling, then I think could be the time to invest from an FPL perspective. But I wouldn't invest straight away in him.
Well, I think it's going to be popular in game week 9, right? Because if Salah for people who
Well,
are
on a
looking
wild
to,
card,
if people are
yes.
looking to wild
Yeah.
card in game week 8 and 9, and Salah maybe still isn't performing, I think we're going to see people switching.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't
can
get him now.
understand that. No, I think that's right, isn't it? Because you don't want him right now because you don't know how many minutes he's going to get versus Firmino and all of that kind of stuff. But also, you don't want. I don't think you want to position yourself with the funds for him and still have Salah. I think it's probably a wild card decision that says which one of those do I have, because you're also going to want Haaland, and there's other premium assets that you're probably going to want to have in your team. You're not going to have them all, so he's a wait for me. And then when we get to wildcard, if Salah's still not returning at the rate that we would want for a 13 million player, then maybe a swap is in order.
Yep, sounds good. United Guayo says, "As you look good." That's nice. See, I get some compliments as well.
Oh, you look amazing.
Oh, thanks,
today.
Sam. Oh, it's so kind. Oh, we're so going to get some flirting comments.
Always.
Always.
It wouldn't be a Q&A stream if we didn't. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I don't think I do look amazing today. My shower's on the fritz because I'm getting water leaking from the ceiling. I don't know what is wrong with that bathroom, so I haven't even showered today. So I feel particularly grim right at the moment. Christopher Khan. Oh, there was one more, I think, someone asked a question about my dad. Can't even see it now. Maybe it's a bit.
Sure. How's your dad feeling about Brighton at the minute? Is he feeling positive?
He is. He knew we'd lose to Fulham. He called that. He called 2-1. Exactly. Bang on.
He's pretty good at this
He's
stuff,
very
your
good.
dad.
It's ridiculous.
What does he think is going to happen against
I
Leicester?
don't know.
Could you phone him now?
I will find out.
Get him on the phone.
It's a live call.
Right now. And ask him, are Brighton going to keep a clean sheet against Leicester?
Yeah, this is from Ahmed Atiyah. As what does your dad think about Brighton's next game? Yeah, so I don't actually know. I will find out. I know that he's not impressed with Leicester at all, which doesn't take a genius to work out. So I would imagine
Leicester aren't impressed with Leicester.
No, exactly. I'd imagine that he's going to predict a Brighton win. I think that's probably what he's going to go for. Would I go for Gross? Yes, I got him in last week on the wild card. I still think he's probably our best option if you want to get one of our attackers. It's a shame he hasn't got pens, but he had some decent chances in the last game as well, and didn't come out with anything. He did drop deep a little bit and was kind of spraying balls around, which might happen. But generally speaking, I think he's 5.9 million or whatever it is. He's so cheap, and we've still got a good run. So yeah, I think he's a good pick. I'm getting loads of super chats, by the way. Thanks everyone for all of the great questions. It's really nice.
Johnny will be happy with us.
He will. Yeah.
Raise lots of money.
Absolutely. Christopher Khan, one of the guys that complimented your hair, I believe so. Who to sub? Gross, Trippier, Cucurella, Perisic, Nelly. Who's Nelly? Martinelli. So unnecessary to use tech speak, Christopher, in this.
Martinelli. Can't bench Martinelli.
No. Perisic
stand out,
yeah,
which feels ridiculous, but he's the standout of those, I think.
I just genuinely don't think he'll play. I would be absolutely amazed if Sessegnon
he'd get minutes, but I don't think he starts.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd bench
I'd
Perisic or Cucurella out of those two. And I'd probably lean towards Perisic.
I think I agree.
Yep. FPL Pharaoh again. Thank you. Cucurella or James to Trippier? Cucurella to Trippier. Definitely don't lose James. If you've kept him for the last game.
If you've got him still, then have Cucurella.
Doesn't matter about clean sheets. For 6 million, he's so attacking, and he'll be playing at right wing back now because Fofana's signed.
Because they've got Fofana. Yeah.
Definitely keep James. No way would I be selling him. That's it. We'll answer that one. That's about my dad. Move with Mike. Roberts dropped in 6.8. Is it time to give up on the Trent and Robertson double up? Yeah, I think we've kind of answered this already. I think we both agree that it is, but this isn't the best week to do it.
I wouldn't do it now. It's not a priority against Everton, but I would be looking to get rid of that quick sharp afterwards.
I think it's a good time if you're thinking about moving funds around, maybe putting a bit more money in midfield or attack. Moving Robertson down to Williams this week is a good week to do it because this is the best week for Williams to have a fixture. So I agree with that. Yeah. If you're going to do it this week, I think, still, and do that move. But if you have other priorities, I don't think you need to take a -4 to get rid of Robertson, for example. So probably just keep him. Yeah. Still more super chats to go, Sam. Still,
It's all right.
we're getting there. Damien, whose surname I pronounced wrong again, he has said before, it's Bruyn's. So I call it like Bruns, but I think he said it's just Burns. Or Burns. No, I don't know. Where's he from? Are you Scottish,
Burns.
Damien? Let me know. And tell me again, and I promise I won't forget this time. Rodrigo out and Ramsdale or Perisic. Rodrigo out and Ramsdale or Perisic. Ward back up. Oh, should I take... I think they've been saying, should I take Rodrigo out? Yes, definitely. And Ramsdale, wait and see on team news.
Yeah, see what Neil says later.
Or Perisic. Well, yeah, again, we've answered this already. I think you take Perisic out this week. You definitely take... Rodrigo as a priority. Rodrigo, if you've got Rodrigo, number one priority, take him out. If Ramsdale's out, you take him out for one of Henderson or Sanchez, based on whether you've used the wild card or not, like we said.
Yep.
And you keep Perisic if you have to, but if you've got a free transfer, moving him to Trippier seems the best move. Yeah?
Agreed.
Yeah, nice little summary, yeah?
There you go, Ian. Click that one.
Yeah, clip that one, Ian. There you go. Neil, not our Neil. This is spelled Neel. As a Brighton fan, Trossard or Gross over Sinistera. Yeah. Do you know what? I was really looking at getting Sinistera, and that would have meant downgrade. I could do Foden and Gross up to Sinistera and Gundogan, for example. Because I think out of those three, out of Gross, Trossard and Sinistera, I'd rather have Sinistera. He'd be my number one pick out of those three.
Really?
I know. And that's coming from the Brighton fan. It's just something about him that I just really like. He's just really exciting.
I didn't think you were going to say that.
Yeah. Out of Trossard and Gross, I'd go Gross. He's cheaper. He's getting into more threatening positions. So I think you can kind of
Which is something I never thought I'd say.
I know. Me neither.
I always would go Trossard over Gross in any other season.
There's something about Gross this season. The timing of his runs are just... They're really clever, and he's getting picked out.
He's so much better.
He can't finish a lot of the time, but he is getting into really good positions. So I would pick Sinistera 1, Gross 2nd, Trossard 3rd, personally.
Okay. I'll go with you.
Okay. Omkar Parab, Perisic and Bailey. Oh, God. Still got bloody Leon Bailey. To Neko and Gross. Or Estupinan and Gross. Estupinan. My favourite, my new favourite player.
It sounded like the commentator was saying a stupid man. And I was like, who's a stupid man?
I like
It really entertained me the other night.
I like Williams and Gross.
Yeah, I like Williams and Gross as well.
Perisic,
I think Williams and Gross is nice this week.
Perisic and Bailey to Neko and Gross. It's a solid move, isn't it?
I mean, Bailey out is just the right thing.
Mm.
Just whatever it takes to get Bailey out of your team, do it. I do really like... So I got Bailey out for Aronson because he was cheap and he was playing in that nice Leicester attack. And he was playing in that nice Leeds attack. So I think there are a couple of other options that you can go to if you do want to spend less budget. But I think now is a great moment to be making that change defensively and going for Williams. So yeah, I would do it.
It's Brains. You pronounce it Brains. Damien Brains. Can you remind me if I ever say Bruns like he's some kind of Scottish, like, I don't know, guy up in the...
Scottish scientist.
Hinterlands. It's Brains. Damien Brains. I'll remember that. I'll remember that as like a zombie. So Damien's like a zombie and he wants brains. That's how I'll try and remember it. Liverpool Anfield. Your guys' rank is horrendous. Is it safe taking advice? Nope. It's not safe taking advice because even when our ranks aren't horrendous, to be honest. So I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah, we're not exactly having the best start to the season. But actually... We had good weeks last week, so, you know.
Yeah, exactly. This is the best week to listen to us before it all falls apart again. Yeah, good. Final question. So no more super chats, please, because we have to end this at some point. The final question I'll take, though, is from Nuclear Atoms. Out of the whole deadline window, what's been the signing that excites you the most from an FPL perspective?
Oh, that is a good question.
Apart from Haaland. That's too obvious.
Wow. But I'm not even finding Haaland exciting anymore.
No, that's true. Yeah, it's kind of
finding him boring now. It's really boring. It's just like, all right, City have scored. Who is it? Oh, it's Haaland. Like, it's a bit of a, I don't know, bit of a non-event.
Well done. You scored another hat trick. Congratulations.
Should we just give him the golden boot now?
Yeah, like, just end the season. Give City the title and Haaland the golden boot. There you go.
I do like. I know that we've spent a lot of the time talking about selling him today, but I do really think Perisic is a really exciting player for FPL. Like if
That's
he
a good
can,
one.
not right now, because I think we're going to see some rotation around the Champions League starting this week. But I do think when we get a bit further into the season, he'll be a really nice option when he makes that space fully his own and he's fully fit and he's ready to go. He's going to be attacking. Spurs look much better defensively this season. So I do really like him from an FPL perspective. I think he'll be a really, really nice option for us.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one. The two for me, I'll say, are I like Zinchenko at Arsenal. I think if we see him moving into midfield, for example, at 5.1 and becoming like a kind of box-to-box midfielder like we've seen him for Ukraine, I think that's a really exciting one. Out of position, Arsenal player, and I really rate Zinchenko as well. So I think that's a really nice one. I think Sinistera's exciting. I've talked about him loads on this one. He's my new, just like you love. Who was it that you were going on
Aronson,
about?
Aronson. Babbled on about
because you've got Aronson. I've got Sinistera. And like a few people are saying in the chat, I think Anthony is really interesting.
Do you know, I was just going to say, I think Anthony could be a really exciting pick for us in FPL. He's one to definitely watch. There's a few players that have come in that I think could potentially just shake things up a little bit. If they start performing really well, they could be good. I was really hoping that Undav was going to be a thing.
I know.
Not yet, but maybe if he is a thing further on into the season, that could be quite a nice cheap option as well. But
it'll be interesting as well to see what they price Aubameyang at, because with Jesus at 8, you've got to hope Aubameyang comes in at 9.
What's Vardy now?
Vardy's 9 something, isn't he? I think he's 9, or he's probably dropped a bit now, but he was 9. Oh, he's 9. He was 9.5. He's down to 9.3.
See, I think I reckon they'll put Aubameyang at 9.5 then.
It just shows how ridiculous that Jesus pricing was, doesn't it? Like, why wasn't Jesus 9?
Well,
8 million for Jesus.
Well, he would have been had he moved the week before and already been at Arsenal. He would have been 9.5, wouldn't he? Is the reality.
Backups. And even at 8 though at City, given that he played quite a lot last year on the wing.
He hasn't. No, not enough.
No, not
enough to warrant. He was going to be a non-option, wasn't he? Totally. Whereas in at 8 at City, maybe you take a chance on him, but then he's got the move. He's perfect in FPL. I love the fact that he's so cheap, but I think about
you love the fact he's so cheap. 80% ownership. Yeah. You like that?
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I hate it.
I don't mind that.
I absolutely hate it.
It's one less position for me to think about.
That's bad. That's not a good thing. That's a bad thing.
I don't know. I don't mind it because I think he's one of those players where he's returning. I'd hate it if he wasn't returning. Like when he goes through, and he will at some point go through a phase where he doesn't return for 4 game weeks, maybe, I'll hate it, because then he'll be a player that I will want to sell and feel I can't because he's got 80% ownership. It'll be that moment, which will happen at some point, that I'll hate it.
Interesting. I feel the complete opposite.
Aubameyang, he's got to go in. Surely he's not going to be less than 9.5. Surely he's going to be Chelsea's first choice striker. I think to be.
I think he should be 9, but I think he'll be coming at 9.5. That would be my guess. Like you say, same price as Vardy. They can't make him more. They can't make him more money than Sterling. You think it'd be 9?
Well, Sterling's 10.
Sterling's 10.
I think
exactly.
he'll be 9.5.
You think? Yes, that's what I think.
10. I think you'll put him in at 9.5. Same as Vardy was.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a hard buy at 9.5 because you're going to have to wait and see if he actually fits into that system in that team. But he could be exciting, couldn't he? Could be another option up top. If he suddenly starts banging, if he arrives and finds Sterling in form like he is at the moment and therefore starts returning regularly, then we could feasibly have a front three that's Haaland, Jesus and Aubameyang, because that'll be much easier to get to than Kane, because you're going to save 2 million.
I like what Kamsi says in the chat. Make Aubameyang 8.
They won't make Aubameyang 8.
No, they won't. They won't make him 8. Definitely not. But I think they should. If they made him 8, that gives you a choice between him and Jesus, and we might actually see some people switching over. Be exciting, but it won't happen. He'll come in at 9.5. I'm pretty sure.
He has to be more than Jesus, not because I think he's worth more than Jesus, but just because they're pricing him for Chelsea.
Yeah. They
weren't pricing Jesus to be starting every single game for Arsenal.
Yeah. No. Agreed. Right, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Do give us a like on the stream if you've enjoyed it. Do make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. It's team news at 3:30. I'll be doing that with Neil. We've got loads of press conferences today, so
much today.
So much today.
You and Neil are going to be here for about 4 years.
I know.
Tonight.
Yeah. Well, it's better than I think the last one we did, there was like nothing to talk about.
Nothing to talk. Well, there's loads to talk about this week, so.
Yeah,
you better bring a big cup of tea with you.
Absolutely, I will. Yeah, I think Neil needs something stronger after a day like today.
Neil's going to need some gin.
He will, yeah. But thank you, everyone. It's been a great stream. Loads of great questions. We really appreciate all your support as well. And we will be back next week ahead of Game Week 7. Sam, thanks for joining me, and see you soon.
Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.